Yeah, welcome to Ambatub. Today we're going to discuss about history, grade 12, unit 1, development of capitalism and nationalism from 1850 to 1914. Under this subtopic, you will learn about part 4, unification of Italy and unification of Germany. Kan jedhu waliin ilaalla, ani maqaan koo Barsaa Naggasuu Gurmeessaatiin. Kanaaf yoo darbe paartii 3 jalatti about nationalism kan jedhu waliin ilaallee turre. Har'a immoo kallattiidhaan party 4 unification of Italy and unification of Germany waliin kan jedhu waliin ilaalla. Kanaaf warri maatii Ambaatuubii hin taane viidiyoo kana subscribe gochuudhaan miseensi maatii Ambaatuubii ta'a. Warri immoo maatii Ambaatuubii taatan viidiyoo keenya kan jaalattan share commentiif like gochuudhaan gahee keessan taphadhaa isiniin jenna. Kallattiidhaan gara main pointii totoonsaniin dura learning outcomes or objective of this unit waliin ilaalla. States the factors that facilitate Italian unification. Kanaaf factors that facilitate Italian unification. Kanaaf unification Italy keessatti wantoota tokkummaa utaalii ariifachiisan isa kana waliin ilaalla. Appreciate the roles of leaders in the process of Italian unification. Again, you will learn about the process of Italian unification. In that case, the roles of leaders like a person called Mazzini, Garibaldi, and Cavour. So you will appreciate in this video the roles of leaders in the process of Italian unification. Again, outline the process of Italian unification. Identify the factors that facilitate and hinder unification of Germany. The second subtopic in this video about Italian German unification. So you will see about the factors that facilitated and hindered the unification of Germany. Kanaaf kan maloota yookiin immoo sababoota unification of Italy in Germany ariifachiisanii fi obstacle to unification of Germany kan jedhu waliin ilaalla. List down major events in the process of unification of Germany. Appreciate the roles of leaders in the process of German unification. This means learning outcomes. Now let us speak directly about unification of Italy. When you say unification of Italy, before 1817, Italy was divided into different petty states, especially around 8 petty states in Italy. Kanaafuu totaliin tokkoomin duratti naannoo bara 1870 dura kan jiru Itaaliin bakka 8 qoqqoodamanii bulaa turanii. Isaan kunis Piedmont-Sardinia, kan akka Tuscany, Modena, Parma. Again, about Naples and the Sicily in southern part of Italy. The Papal State in central part of Italy. So, what does unification mean? We can say Italian unification, German unification. When you say what Italian unification mean? Italian unification, when you say the political and the process, social process that united separate state of Italy into a single nation in the 19th century called Italian unification. Italian unification gaafa jennu adeemsa siyaasaadhaa fi hawaasummaa kan jaarraa 19ffaa keessatti isteetiiwwan qoqqoodamanii bulaa turan bakka tokkotti kan fide jechuudha. Kanaaf unification or Italian unification when you say the political and the social process that united the separate state of Italy into a single nation in the 19th century. This means definition of Italian unification. When we come to Italian German unification, they had similarity in different ways. So, the first similarity between unification of Italy and Germany, both Italian and German unifications started or began with the great event called Vienna Congress of 1815 and the end of Napoleon's rules, and the second one ended with the Franco-Prussian War in 1871. Kanaaf unification of Italy and Germany kan isaan ittiin jalqabanii by the great event called Vienna Congress. Vienna Congress, when you say the conference of Europeans at Vienna after Napoleon Bonaparte was defeated, especially after he was defeated by the coalition force of Europeans. This means the first event which led to the beginning of Italian and German unification. Again, both German and Italian unification also completed by the same event. Eventi wal fakkaatan immoo adeemsa tokkummaa Italy fi Germany kan xumure Franco-Prussian War jedhama. Kanaaf now we have two important events in German and Italian unification, Vienna Congress and the end of Napoleon rule in France or in Europe. It was the beginning, that means the beginning of the unification. Again, ended with the Franco-Prussian War. So the event which ended or completed unification of Germany was Franco-Prussian War. Franco-Prussian War, when we say the war which fought between France and Prussia in 1871. This means the similarity between German and Italian unification. Again, in 1850, Italy was still politically divided and Austrian influence was still supreme. Kanaaf keessaayyuu naannoo 1852 yoo ilaallu Itaaliin bakka garaagaraatti qoodamanii bulaa turan. Politically divided when you say there were around 8 PT states in Italy. In addition to that, Austria influence also is still supreme. As now you will get in this video, kanaaf Austrian kuni Italy keessaa direct rule fi indirect rule qabdi. Keessaayyuu two important states were under the rule of Italian directly. That means Lombardy and Venetia were directly ruled under Austria. Again, Austria also influenced other Italian states like Parma, Morea, and Tuscany. They had their own rulers, but in this case, it's also under the influence of Habsburg dynasty of Italy. Because of this, Italian unification was somewhat influenced by the domination of Austria. Kanaaf before 1815. The approach of unification of Italy. As now, unification of Italy process started 1815. In this case, there were three important approaches. The first approach, the second approach, and the third approach. The first approach means to create a united under free Italian republic through popular revolution that propagated Giuseppe Mazzini and his organization called the Young Italy. Kanaaf tokkummaa Italy kana keessatti there were three important approaches. The first approach, to create a united Italy and a free Italian republic through a popular revolution. It was propagated by a person called Giuseppe Mazzini. Giuseppe Mazzini and his organization called the Young Italy. This means the first approach. Approaching kun maal jedham tokkummaa'uudhaa fi Italy bilisa baate republic jalatti hundeessuudhaan kun. Kun immoo fedheewuti this lead under proposed by a person called Giuseppe Mazzini and his organization called the Young Italy. The first approach, Italian unification. The second approach means to unify Italy under the leadership of Piedmont monarchy. Kuni came from the northern Italian state of Piedmont. Second approach, to unifying Italy under leadership of Piedmont's monarchy, especially Piedmont mean independent state in Italian before Italian unification, to also nucleus state in Italian unification. Because of the second interest of approach mean to unifying Italy under the leadership of Piedmont monarchy, which came from northern Italian state of the Piedmont. The second approach. The third approach also called for unification of Italy under the Pope of Roman Catholic Church, that wanted the federation of all Italian states under the papacy. This means the three important approaches, unification of Italy. From these approaches, the second approach, that means the approach to unify Italy under leadership of Piedmont's monarchy was got popular support. Kanaaf umarratti injifannoo kan argate fudhatama kan argate approach lammaffaa kana. Approach lammaffaan kun Itaaliiwwan isteetiiwwan Itaalii hunda isaanii qoodamanii bulan bakka tokkotti fiduudhaan Piedmont monarchy irratti bulchuudha. Piedmont mean Constitutional monarchy in Italy. This means the three important approaches Italy. This known as the two rich provinces were part of Austrian Empire. That means Lombardy and Venetia were under the direct rule of Austria. The second small state, when you say Parma, Modena, Tuscany in northern central part of Italy, the San Kun Mokan Regamani, Nano Garam, north central part of Italy Targamu. They were very much under Austrian influence and ruled despotically by rulers related to Habsburg, Emperor of Austria. This means the second state. In this case, when you say Lombardy and Venetia were under the direct control of Austria. But when we come to Parma, Modena, Tuscany, this state also under indirect control or influence of Austria. The third state in Italy, the Papal state. The Papal state means in central part of Italy. Kun immoo isatti giddu galeessa Italy. The Papal state, when you say the state which ruled under the Roman Catholic Church, especially in central part of Italy. So this is covered a vast territory in Italy. Keessaa Italy keessatti lafa bal'aa qabatee kan jiru Papal state kana waan ta'eef isa kana consists of provinces of Romagna, Marches, Umbria, or Umbria as well as what Romanda, Patrimony. This means the state which ruled under the Papal state in central part of Italy. Again, the fourth state also the Kingdom of Naples and the Sicily. This state also in southern part of Italy. Isaan kun isatti argamu naannoo garam ka kibba Itaaliitti argamu waan ta'eef isaan kunis Kingdom of Naples yookiin immoo the two important states Naples and the Sicily. In other words, this is known as what? The kingdom of two Sicilies. These were poor feudal and backward states in Italy. Stateewwan poor yookiin immoo warri dureeyyii hin taane yookiin immoo hiyyeeyyii kan taane keessumaa feudal sirna abbaa lafaatiin kan bulanidhaa fi backward state yookiin immoo warri jedhaman isaan kanaadha. Kanaaf kingdom of Naples and the Sicily, it ruled, especially it was ruled despotically and the kings on closely allied with Austria again. Kanaaf akkuma dura jenne Lombard and Venetia were under the direct rule of Austria. But Parma, modern Tuscany also under the indirect influence of Austria, the same as through the kingdom of Naples, that means Naples and the Sicily in southern part of Italy also, they had their own rulers, that means absolute rulers. But that was also influenced by the Austria. This means the independence of this state. In other words, the fifth and the last state in Italy before Italian unification, the kingdom of Piedmont. This also made up of two important states, Piedmont and Sardinia. This state sometimes known as the kingdom of Piedmont-Sardinia. It was the only Italian state that was really independent of Austria. This state was free from external influence or foreign influences. As now in Italy before the unification, there were two important foreign powers. These were France as well as what the second one, Austria. When we come to Piedmont-Sardinia or the kingdom of Piedmont, it was the only Italian state that was really independent of Austria. This state also advanced state in Italy, more advanced state in the in Italy before Italian unification. Because why we can say more advanced state, this state had a constitution, a parliament, and a civil right. As a result, the kingdom of Piedmont called the more advanced state in Italy before Italian unification. Again, this state also took the lead, especially in the movement of Italian unification. SIU state kun Italian unification kan process kan dursaa ture yookiin gaggeessaa kan ture the kingdom of Piedmont. Kanaaf ishiin kun maal jedhamti? Central state Italian unification, or we can say nuclear state Italian unification. It was free from foreign influence as well as also more advanced state in Italy. Again, it had constitution, parliament, and civil right. As a result, this also began to lead the process of unification in Italy before Italian unification. Why? Because in this case, because liberals and nationalists all over Italy saw their best hope of a united Italy in unification with the Piedmont under constitutional monarchy of King Victor Emmanuel II, who ruled during the Piedmont from 1849 up to 1878. Sabi kanatiif maaltu mirga kenneef gaafa jennu uummanni yookiin immoo the nationalists in Italy keessaa liberals and nationalists all over Italy saw their best hope of a united Italy in unification with Piedmont under constitutional monarchy of King Victor Emmanuel II. Kanaaf fedhii uummataati waan ta'eef this took the role of leading Italian unification in the process of Italian unification. This means the independent state in Italy before Italian unification. Walumaa galatti Italiin kun garee gurguddoo shanii fi state xixiqqoo 8 arganna waan ta'eef isaan kun maal jedhamu? Italy was disintegrated before unification. So now let us obstacles to the Italian unification, especially obstacles to the Italian political unification. Before Italian unification, we have two important foreign powers. These were Austria. Austria was the first obstacle to Italian unification. In this case, Austria wanted to maintain status quo, that means her interest in Italy. Kanaaf in Italy yookiin immoo Austria manni fedhii bulchiinsa lafa sana qabatuuf susuu waan barbaaduu fi challenge guddaa kan teessa kana. The first obstacle to Italian unification mean the domination of Austria. Austria directly controlled two important states, which already mentioned. These were Lombardy and Venetia. Indirectly, this Austria also controlled or influenced the state like Parma, modern Tuscany, as well as the kingdom of Sicily or the kingdom of Naples. That means, in short, the two states which were called Naples and Sicily. So that because of this, Austria wanted to maintain the status quo. Kanaaf akkuma dura ibsine, Austria achi keessaa kallattiidhaan fedhii mataa isheetii qabdi. Fedhiin ishee tokko lafti Lombardy and Venetia kallattiidhaan bulchiti. Warreen kan immoo Austria Italy keessatti kan akka Parma, modern Tuscany, north central part of Italy fi Naples and Sicily in Southern Italy keetti immoo indirectly kan ishiin influence gootu waan ta'eef fedhii ishii kana tufsisuu barbaadde ishiin kun. So Austria went to maintain the status quo in Italy. The first challenge. Second challenge, the weakness of national sentiment in Italy. Even before 1870s, before 1850, there was weak feeling, national feeling in Italy. This means another challenge. So our factor in the struggle for unification was diplomatic isolation of Austria after the Crimean War of 1855 up to 1856. That means the rivalry between France and Austria in Italy. Kanafi, challenging kun factoronni kun jiru, challenging kun jiru. Atomally favorable factor in the struggle for unification was what we can say diplomatic isolation of Austria. Austria adapted Bawushit after Crimean War of 1855 up to 1856. Sometimes Crimean War from 1853 up to 1856. Kita wata berada kazira one TV. Kanaf Crimean War when says the war which fought between British and the French on one side and Russia on the other side. The war was fought to oppose, especially British and the French opposed what we can say the domination of Ottoman Turkey in the Balkan region, but Russia also what especially went to oppose what we can say the domination of Ottoman Turkey in Balkan region. Kana foran kun gare lama gidduutti. British Faransai mal barbadu, so British the preservation of Ottoman Turkey in Balkan region. On the other hand, Russia also wanted to oppose or the decline of Ottoman Turkey in the region because of this Crimean War fought between the two important groups. The first one, British and the French on one hand, or that means Russia on the other hand. Kanaaf interest garaagaraa irra qaban. Keessa British fa'imaal barbaadu, Ottoman Turkiin akka naannoo Balkan region akka turu barbaadu. Russian immoo akka injifatamanii ba'an barbaaddu. Kanaaf waraanni kun gaggeeffame garee kan lamaan gidduutti. The first factor, favorable factor in the struggle for unification of Italy. Carraan guddaan Itaaliidhaaf sababa guddaa kan ta'e isa kana. That in this case, Austria was isolated from other state. During that period, Austriaan garee EUtiin garee Raashiyaati keessaa ishiin kun. Kanaaf Faransaayidhaa fi Austria waliif diina ta'an. This means rivalries between France and Austria in Italy mean another factor which is facilitated unification of Italy. Walumaa galatti carraa kan ta'eef Itaaliidhaaf unification of Italy keessatti waa lama. Tokko diplomatic isolation of Austria after the Crimean War and rivalries between France and Italy. This means the main factor that facilitated unification of Italy. So the other one we have also the known leaders. Camillo Camillo especially, Count Camillo di Cavour came to power, especially was from 1810 up to 1861. This person came to power in 1852 as the Prime Minister of Piedmont-Sardinia. Kanaaf namni kun maal jedhama? The architect of Italian unification because he prepared Piedmont for the role of leadership in Italian unification. Kanaaf namni kun maal jedhama? The Prime Minister of Piedmont namni jedhamu kun from 1852 up to 1862, he was the architect of Italian unification because he led the unification process of Italy. In this case, this person also came to power, another favorable condition for the unification of Italy. Carraan lammaffaan immoo Italiin akka tokkoomtu gahee guddaa kan taphate namni Camillo Cavour yookiin immoo maqaan isaa guutuun Count Camillo di Cavour nama jedhamu aangootti dhufuu isaati. As what as Prime Minister of Piedmont, Sardinia or Piedmont in short, from 1852 up to 1862. This person came to power and they prepared the Piedmont for the role of leadership in Italian unification. Ergaan gootu dhufee booda namni kun maal gochuu jalqabe Piedmont state kana jennu kana akka inni dursuuf akka inni gaggeessuuf Italian unification jedhamu gahee guddaa taphate waan ta'eef isa kana. In addition to that, this person in 1858 Cavour met French Emperor, a person called Napoleon III, secretly at the Plombier in France and succeeded in reaching an agreement with Napoleon for an alliance of France and Piedmont against Austria. This means another condition, another factor that facilitated unification of Italy. Namichi aangootti gaafa dhufu Cavour kuni bara 1858 waggaa ja'a booddeetti maal ta'e nama Napoleon III faana kallattiidhaan at Piedmont jedhamutti wal argan in France. Maal walii galtee mallatteessan agreement signed, secret agreement signed between a person called Cavour of Piedmont-Sardinia and Napoleon III of France. Yoo waliigaltee kana mainni that mean an agreement with Napoleon for an alliance of France and Piedmont against Austria. That means to defeat or to eliminate Austria from Italy at that time with another condition, which was the unification of Italy. This one is the most important issue. So Cavour contribute a lot to success of unification of Italy. Kanaaf keessaa Cavour contribute a lot to the successful unification of Italy. Nama gahee guddaa taphateera. In the end, Cavour successfully gained control of Lombardy, Tuscany, Parma, Modena, which greatly helped the unification process. Keessaayyuu bara 1858 mana ture revolutionii ture naannoo kana keessa. Kanaaf Lombardiin gaafa Austriyaan injifatamtuudha. Kanaaf against Austria gaafate waan ta'eef the Battle of Magenta, Solferino in June 1859, Austria was defeated. Because of this, Cavour got Lombardy from Austria. Again, 1859, revolution started in Tuscany, Parma and Modena. In this case, the state of Parma, the nationalists in Tuscany, Parma and Modena also drove out the rulers, especially the pro-Austria rulers, and united with the Piedmont-Sardinia. This means the process, especially which facilitated unification of Italy around 1859. So, in 1859, Napoleon III then intervened on the side of Piedmont against Austria. The war started between Austria and Piedmont, especially on two important issues. That means the issues that mean to get Lombardy and Venetia. The first one, again to complete unification of Italy by defeating and by what we can say clearing Austria from Italy at that time. Because of this, in 1859, war started between Austria and Piedmont. Kana bara 1859 kaayyoo lama irratti waraanni jalqabe isaan kana giduu tokko Lombardy Venetia argachuudhaaf Austria injifachuudhaan naafama Austriaan guutumaan guutuutti Italy keessaa akka baatuudhaaf. Kanaaf in 1859, Napoleon III of France then intervened on the side of Piedmont against Austria. Kanaaf gara Austria golee waraana itti bane waan ta'eef isa kana the combined force invaded Lombardy and defeated Austrian army at the Battle of Magenta and Solferino in June 1859. This means another advantage in unification of Italy. Now Austria was defeated, Lombardy argatamte waan ta'eef isa kana arganna. Kanaaf Austria were driven out of Lombardy but still held Venetia. Kanaaf namni kun Lombardiin argateera Cavour. Garuu immoo maal ta'e Venetiaan hanga 1866 harka Austria turte. Kanaaf the establish another consequence of the Battle of Solferino when using the establishment of International Red Cross Association by Swiss humanitarian Henry Dunant, the result of Battle of Solferino. Solferinoon kun immoo bara 1859 kan gaggeeffame waan ta'eef consequence international consequence hin samaa'inni Red Cross Association kan jennu kan International Red Cross Association kan hundeeffame by a person called Henry Dunant nama jedhamuun waan ta'eef kanaaf international consequences internal consequence Lombardy argachuu ishiiti the defeat of Austria jechuudha karaa biraatiin international consequences immoo maanni the establishment of Red Cross Association kanaaf dhaabbanni fannoo diimaa addunyaa kan hundeeffame bara 1859 ta'uudhaan a person called Henry Dunant. This means the result of Battle of Solferino which fought between Austria on one hand and Piedmont-Sardinia supported by France on the other hand. This means international consequence of the Battle of Solferino. This one is another issue. So Napoleon, however, concluded unilateral peace treaty with Austria on the basis that Austria ceded Lombardy to Piedmont and kept Venetia. This means the win weakness. Kanaaf namni kun Napoleon III of France jala garagalee immoo Cavour jedhama waliigaltee dhoksaa mallatteesse unilateral peace treaty. Unilateral peace treaty gaafa jennu waliigaltee gamtokkeedha. Gamtokkee maaliif jedhe what is known as unilateral? The issues about Venetia. Venetia mean part of Italy. Kanaaf Italy hin dabalanne. Gamtokkee kan jenne bakka Italy bakka bu'e yookiin immoo bakka Piedmont dhoksaadhaan waliigaltee eenyu faana mallatteesse namni kun Austria faana mallatteesse waliigalteen kun maal jedhama that mean Austrian Lombardy gallakkiftiif eenyudha Piedmontidhaaf garuu Venetia qabatteedha waliigalteen kun this secret agreement which is signed between a person called Napoleon III of France and Austria around 1859. But Battle of Lombardy also resulted in the combination or the unification of Lombardy with other Italian state in 1859. Garuu amma ammallee Venetian gara Itaaliitti dhufuudhaaf guyyaa eeggachaa jirti waan ta'eef it is continued until 1866. Kanaaf Papal province of Romania and the state of Parma, modern Tuscany revolted against the rulers in 1859. Bara 1859 immoo the year of revolution in Italy. Kun keessaa Italy keessatti baraan revolution jedhamee kabajamu bara 1859 waan ta'eef gaafsan the Papal province of Romania, the state of Parma, Modena and the Tuscany revolted against the rulers and the drove out the pro-Austrian rulers and united with the Piedmont-Sardinia. These their rulers were overthrown and the provisional government were established. So in 1860, there was an uprising in Sicily against unpopular government of the Kingdom of Naples. Keessa bulchiinsa Naples irratti bara 1860 immoo fincila ture uprising in Sicily against unpopular government of the Kingdom of Naples. So Garibaldi was invited to come from Piedmont to lead what? The Sicilian uprising. Kanaaf namni Giuseppe Garibaldi immoo affeerameet loltoota kun uprising kana yookiin immoo fincila kan akka dursuudhaaf gaheen kennameef. So this person went to the southern part of Italy with his force which called Red Shirts. So he agreed to lead the Sicilian uprising provided that the people accepted the program of unification with the rest of Italy under Victor Emmanuel. Kanaaf namni kun agreed to lead Sicilian uprising was in Garibaldi, another important person in this case. Because of this person agreed to lead Sicilian uprising provided that the people accepted the program of the unification with the rest of Italy under a person called Victor Emmanuel. So, namni kun erga dhaqee recruited is famous 1,000 volunteers in the north and took them to Sicily where they joined by the other volunteers. Kanaaf loltoonni isaa kun maal jedhamu? Thousands of Red Shirts jedhamu. Loltoonni eenyu? Loltoonni a person called Giuseppe Garibaldi, the nationalist in Italy, was invited to lead uprising in Sicily, especially in Naples. Loltoota kana qabatee gaafa loltoonni sun 1,000 volunteers yookiin immoo thousands jedhamu because their number was 1,000 and the Red Shirts in other word. Kan biraatti immoo Red Shirts maaliif jedhamu? Uniformiin waraanaa isaanii diimaa waan ta'eef walumaa galatti advanced up to the peninsula and took city of Naples on September 7, 1860. This means unification of Italy. So what were the reasons for Garibaldi's success? Namni kun immoo maaliif fiixabe Sicily yookiin immoo in southern part of Italy. Sababiin isaa tokko because of his own skill as a leader in guerrilla warfare under his magnetic personality. Keessaayyuu namni kun nama baay'ee cimaa ta'eedhaa fi keessaayyuu lola guerrilla warfare yookiin immoo riphee lolummaadhaan muuxannoo nama qabu waan ta'eef. The first reason for his success. The lammaffaan immoo successful mobilization of Sicilian masses. Lammaffaan dandeetti warra Sicilian kan of duuba hiriirsuu danda'eera namni kun. The second reason. The third one, demoralization of the army of Naples and the defeatism and treachery of many of officials of the Naples government. The sadaffaan immoo keessaayyuu loltoonni warra Naples kuni demoralized ta'aniiru. Demoralization of the army of Naples, the defeatism and the treachery of many of the officials of Naples government. Keessaayyuu namoonni Naples warra keessatti bulchaa turan officialonni kun warra mootummaan isaanii ganuu jalqaban. This means the three important reasons for Garibaldi's success in southern part of Italy or in the Kingdom of Naples or in the Kingdom of Sicily. This means another important factor. Because of this, in 1861, the Kingdom independent Italy was proclaimed at Turin under Victor Emmanuel or Victor Emmanuel II. Kanaaf bara 1861 tokkummaan Italy, Kingdom of Independent Italy was proclaimed at Turin at that time. Turin was the capital of independent Italy for 9 years, from 1861 up to 1817, and Rome was established in 1870. Kanaaf immoo 1870 magaalaan Italy Turin turte jechuudha. Kanaaf gaaf sana immoo Victor Emmanuel the King of Italy or Victor Emmanuel the Second namni jedhamu kun. But Italian unification was not completed. Not completed because Rome and Venetia were still not united with Italy. Kanaaf independent kingdom of Italy was proclaimed. Tokkummaan yookiin immoo tokkummaan Italy labsamu iyyuu malee. Kanaaf unification of Italy was not completed in xumuramne because of what? Rome and Venetia were still not united with Italy. Because in Rome there were the French troops still now until 1870. Venetia also under Austria until 1866. Kanaaf bara 1870 Rome keessa loltuu Faransaay jira. Venetia immoo bara 1866 ammallee Australia jirti waan ta'eef kanaaf kingdamiin kun independent ta'u malee unification of Italy was not completed in 1861. Kanaaf maal argannaa in Austro-Prussian war and the Franco-Prussian war were the two important events that completed unification of Italy. Kanaaf bara 1866 Austro-Prussian war jedhama. Austro-Prussian war mean the war which fought between Austria and Prussia. Prussia mean in other word German. Kanaaf gaafa Germany fi Austria gubbaa wal keessaayyuu when unification process also took place in Italy, the same as unification process also taking place in Austria, Germany at that time. Kanaaf 1861 Austro-Prussian war jechuun waraana Germany fi Austria gidduudha. Keessaa unification of Italy and Germany keessatti similarity isaan qabanii France and Austria were the two foreign powers in Italy and Germany. Kanaaf lamaan isaaniitiif diina Austrian kun. In this case, 1866, to complete unification of Germany, the war broke out between Austria and Prussia, that mean Germany. Kanaaf iyyuu unification of Germany keessatti independent state kan jedhamtu Prussiaadha. Italy keessatti eenyu jenneerra? Piedmont-Sardinia jenneerra. Kanaaf when unification of Italy was led by Piedmont-Sardinia, unification of Germany was led by Prussia. Kanaaf 1861, 1866 Austro-Prussian waridha. 1870 to 1871 Franco-Prussian war. That means the war which fought between France and Prussia again or Germany. These were the two events that complete Italian unification. How? In 1866 Prussia success in the war forced Austria to cede Venetia. Keessaayyuu gaaf sana 1866 Austro-Prussian war keessatti Piedmont or Italy supported Prussia. Then Austria was defeated. Kanaaf gaafa injifatamtu maal goote? Venetia gallakkiftee deemte ishiin kuni the first event. Ni lammaffaan immoo in 1870 or Franco-Prussian war kan jedhu forced Napoleon to withdraw French troops from Rome. Keessaayyuu Rome keessaa loltu Franco-Prussian war immoo waraana isa dhumaati. Both in unification of Germany and unification of Italy. Sababii kanaatiif gaafa injifataman immoo ammas loltuu isaanii Rome keessaa kaafata waan ta'eef this event completed unification of Italy. As a result, the Italian government therefore sent its troops and seized Rome in September 1817. As a result, Rome soon became the capital of Italy. Now Italian unification completed. Kanaaf unification Italy kan xumure kam jechuudha akkuma dura jennee Franco-Prussian waridha. Sababiin isaa walabummaan Italy kan bilisa bahe gaafa loltoonni Faransaay Rome gallakkisanii ba'anidha waan ta'eef in this case this also Rome became the capital of Italy. Keessaayyuu in the place of Turin. This is all about unification of Italy. The second subtopic unification of Germany. The same as through Italy. Italy and Germany went to Alpha. Before the unification, both states or countries were disintegrated or disunited nation. In Italy, there were around 80 states. When we come to Germany, there were around 39 states, called the German Confederation, or band under the domination of Austria. This indicates the similarity of unification of Germany and Italy. Kanaaf lamaan isaanii Germany and Italy kun before unification divide into different state, PT state. Italy gaafa dhaqnu around 80 states. Germany gaafa dhaqnu around 39 states. Kanaaf this also similarity. In 1850, Germany was loose confederation of 38 states called German Confederation or band under the domination of Austria. So band was not satisfactory form of unity for German nationalists to wanted real political unity for reasons of German nationalism and economic reasons. Keessaayyuu warri nationalistoota kanaafi bandi yookiin immoo stating kun jalqaba naannaa 100 turan. Vienna Congress in ta'ee seetiiwwan Germany kana gara 39tti gadi buute. Reduced from 100 to 39. That means the action which is taken by Vienna Congress of 1815. In this case, Vienna Congress formed German Confederation, that which was called band under the domination of Austria. Kana immoo kan hoogganeedha Austria bulchaa jechuudha. Kanaaf bandi was a satisfactory form of unity for German nationalists. Keessaayyuu warra Jarmanootaaf, saboota Jarmanootaaf, lammii Jarmaniif bandi yookiin immoo confederation Australiyaatti buluu kanan barbaadan jarreen kun. They opposed this action. So they went toward real political unit for reasons for German nationalism and economic reason. Keessaayyuu Austriyaan saama jedhamtanii waa yaadaniif waan ta'eef this mean process unification of Italy. So German nationalism was encouraged by the success of Italian national unification between 1859 up to 1861. Keessaayyuu bara 1850 keessa German nationalism was encouraged, motivated by the success of Italian national unification between 1859 up to 1861. Kanaaf waggaa lama keessatti warra Itaalii kun ka'anii independent Italian kingdom hundeessan atti Turin jenne 1861. This encouraged the German nationalism. So they also began to intensify their struggle. They intensified the struggle to unify German around 1859. So what were the obstacles to German unification? Similar to Italian unification, German unification also faced obstacles. So what were the obstacles to German unification? The first, Austria. Austria was both obstacle to unification of Germany and Italy. Again, which went to preserve status quo in Italy, in Germany. Kan Germany keessa state garaagaraa qabdi waan ta'eef Austrian federation qabdu kana galmaan gaachuudhaa fi lammaffaan German princes. Hooggantoonni German mataan isaanii obstacle to German unification. Why they wanted to keep their independence and the cultural differences between North and the South Germany. Kanaaf jarreen kun maal barbaadu? Hangoo isaan duraanii gallakkisuun barbaadu. German princes warra jedhaman. They wanted to keep their independence. Walabummaa isaanii fi hangoo isaanii gubbaatu jarreen kun. This means the first reason. Lammaffaan immoo the difference between North and the South, especially cultural difference between North and the South of Germany, also another obstacle. This where unification of Germany obstacle isaan mudatan isaan gurguddoo isaan kana sadanii fi kan biroo jiru waan ta'eef isaan kana. Kanaaf 1861 William the First. If we say Victor Emmanuel the Second for Italy, we can say King William the Second for Germany. In this case, this person crowned King of Prussia. Kanaaf Prussia mean and similar to the Piedmont-Sardinia in Italy, Nicholas said the unification of Germany. As a result, 1861, a person called William I came to power. In this case, this person also began to lead the process of unification of Germany. In this case, we can say what William sent his war minister, especially von Roon, proposed enlarging and reforming Prussian army to give Prussia more influence against Austria and France. Kanaaf namni kun bara 1861tti King of Prussia ta'eera. His under his war minister. He and his war minister gaafa jennu William the First dhaa fi war minister von Roon nama jedhamu lamaan kun. They proposed enlarging and reforming Prussian army to give Prussia more influence against Austria and as security against France. That means the role of these two important leaders. William the First and is Prime Minister, War Minister von Roon. This means the two important leaders. So, but the proposal was opposed by Prussian Parliament. Why? Which refused to vote in unnecessary new taxation. Kanaaf sochiin jarreen kun lamaanii maal gochuu barbaadan jarreen kun humna waraanaa Raashiyaa guddisuu barbaadan. Prussiyaa guddisuu barbaadan. Keessaayyuu kanaaf taxation barbaachisan kun. Prussian army to give Prussian more influence gochuu against Austria and France injifachuudhaaf. They also proposed what we can say enlarging the British and reforming Prussian army to give Prussian more influence. But that action also opposed by the Prussian parliament. Why? The parliament also refused to vote on the necessary new taxation. As a result, the king also took another action. Kanaaf mootichi maal godhe? Gaafa paarlaamaan gibira haaraa yookiin immoo taxation bira dabaluu fideedu maal godhe? Kanaaf jarreen kanaaf karaa biraatiin murtee biraa fudhate. Then the king appointed Otto von Bismarck as chief minister of Prussia. when you say Cavour was the prime minister of Italy or Piedmont-Sardinia. Otto Bismarck was also the chief minister of Prussia. So Bismarck came to power as the prime minister of the chief minister of Prussia at the time. This person politically conservative kan ta'e, political realist and extremely able man. Keessa nama baay'ee danda'u, conservative kan ta'e, political realist nama ta'e aangootti dhufe waan ta'eef, this is also another advantage unification of Germany, similar to the coming to power of a person called Cavour. In this case, this person came to power and Bismarck believes that unification of Germany could be achieved by blood and iron, not by agreement, not by treaty. In this case, this person came to power. He began to collect taxation without the parliamentary approval, but the parliament not oppose his action. Kanaaf jalqaba paarlaamaan murtee kan hidhe wanti namni kun nama cimaadha waan ta'eef believed him waan isa amananii maal ta'anii paarlaamaan gaafa inni gibira funaan dabalataa otoo paarlaamaan murteessin gaafa inni jalqabu namni ittiin mormee hin jiru. Kanaaf Bismarck maal jedhee tamana Bismarck believes that the unification of Germany could be achieved by blood and iron. Kanaaf tokkummaan Germanii kan fiixa bahu blood and iron hidhaan yookiin immoo waraanaan qofa jedheeti kan hin amanan. So he led German toward this unification using his political philosophy of real politics, that in politics of reality jechuudha. And blood and iron policy, military power hidhaan. Kanaaf unification of Germany kan ta'u karaa gurguddoo lama qofaanidha namni kun. This led German toward the unification using its political philosophy of real politics, and that means the politics of reality, and the blood and iron policy, that means military power. This is the interest or the philosophy of a person called Bismarck in the process of Italian unification. So what does real politics mean? Real politics mean pursue goals by any means of necessary. Any means necessary. Go to war. Barbaade waraana deemte by Lee and the break treaties. Namichi kun maal real politics jechuun maal jechuudha? Karaa barbaachisaa ta'een Jarmaniin tokkoomsuu jedha. Real politics mean pursue goal by any means. Kanaaf kaayyoo kee karaa barbaachisaa ta'een galma ga'u. Yoo barbaade waraana kaaste, yoo barbaade kuftee, barbaade sobdee, barbaade immoo treaty addaan kuttee yookiin waliigaltee addaan kuttee gochuu dandeessaa jedhama. This means is first philosophy, real politics of reality jedha isa kana. Lammaffaan blood and iron policy jedhama. This means using military power to achieve unification of Germany. Blood and iron jechuun humna waraanaa fayyadamtee, meeshaa fayyadamtee, loltuu fayyadamtee maal goota military power hidhaan unification of Germany gaggeessitaa jedha. This person called the father of blood and iron jedhamee nama beekamu, the person called Otto von Bismarck unification of Germany, because this person had his own political philosophy. Philosophy isaa maal jedha? Real politics and blood and iron policy kan jedhu kana waan ta'eef real politics mean politics of reality, that mean to achieve your goals in by any means of necessary. Go to war barbaade waraana kaafte, barbaade kuftee, sobdee, break treaties, waliigaltee kan addaan kuttee galma kan geessu maal jedhama? For him real politics jedhama. Blood and iron policy immoo manne using military power to achieve unification of Germany kan jedhu kana waan ta'eef isa kan arganna. Bismarck knew that Germany could not be united under Prussia without war against Austria, probably France. Kanaaf maal jedhee? Bismarck knew that Germany could not be united under Prussia without war against Austria and France. Kanaaf namichi kun maal jedhee amana? Yookiin maal bare? Unification of Germany galma ga'uu kan danda'u karaa nagaa otoo hin taane waraanaani. Could not be united under Prussia without war against Austria and France. Kanaaf Faransaay fi Austria lollu malee German gonkuma tokkoon ba'uu hin danda'u jedhee amana namni kun. So Austria would not give up its leadership in bands, that means confederation, band unless it suffered a defeat jedha. Kanaaf Austria kan band yookiin confederation galeessuu dandeessu yoo injifatamte qofa waan yaaduuf this means the goal of this person. So traditional French policy also to keep German political divided and therefore weak. Faransaay immoo barbaadde German akka qoqqoodamte haftu 39 state akka itti fuftu barbaadde akkasumas immoo German akka ishiin dadhabdee haftu barbaadde. Kanaaf Bismarck also knew that his program of uniting German would not be possible without good relationship between Prussia and Russia. Kanaaf kan biraa maal jedhe? Germaniin fiixa ba'uu kan dandeenyu yookiin tokkumsuu kan dandeenyu walitti dhufeenya gaarii Prussia fi that mean Russia gidduu jiraateedha. German jechuudha kana biraatiin Prussia waan ta'eef this person went to form a relation with Russia at the time. This one is the most important one. Therefore, extend all his diplomatic skill to maintain good relation with Russia. Kanaaf Russia faana waliigaltoomuudhaaf karaa barbaadeen diplomatic skill fayyadamee walitti dhufeenya gaarii Russia faana uumuu barbaade. Namni kun he was helped by the fact that Prussia and Russia had common interest in opposing Polish nationalism. Lamaan isaanii maal qabu? Common interest qabu. Polish nationalism kuma duree biraa keessatti ilaalla waan ta'eef kanaaf isaan kana walii barbaadu. Kanaaf during the Great Polish Revolt of 1863, Prussia was the only great power that was sympathetic to Russia. Keessaayyuu gaafa Russian Poland keetti mormii isa qunnamu revoltuu isa ishee qunnamu namni kun gargaarsa yookiin immoo rakkoo Russia bira kan dhaabateedha Prussia qofaadha. That means the interest of a person called Bismarck. As a result, the Bismarck accomplished his goal through 3 military success. Kanaaf Jarman tokko uummeessuudhaaf namni kun Bismarck waraana gurguddoo sadii gaggeesse. Kanaaf the first one, Danish War of 1864, the Austro-Prussian War of 1866, and the Franco-Prussian War of 1870 up to 1871. Because of this, in this case, Bismarck accomplished his goal through 3 military successes or fought 3 important wars. This means the Danish War. Keessaayyuu Jarman keessa kan turanii humnoota alaa sadii ture. Denmark, Austria, and France. Kanaaf eliminating this enemy, to eliminate this enemy, a person called Bismarck fought 3 important wars. The first war called Danish War. Danish War mean the first allied with Austria. Diinamsa Austria faana walitti firoomee to defeat Denmark in short war fought from in 1864. Then, according what the 2 important states or regions which ruled under Danish during that period left Denmark qabatee turte isaan kana lamaan. Sisluingidhaa fi Holstein warra jedhaman lamaan kana. That means that Danish was defeated in 1864 in the Danish War, and then this also released these 2 important regions. Now Austria to move. Austro-Prussian War of 1866. Austro-Prussian War is a war which fought within Austria and Prussia. During the Danish War, Bismarck maal jedha diina keenya balleessuu kan dandeenyu tokko isaanitti michoomne jedhee waan yaaduuf. Kanaaf in 1864 in the Danish War, this person supported by Austria. Now within 2 years, after 2 years, this person also declared the war on Austria itself. So Austro-Prussian War of 1866 won decisive victory at the Battle of Congrats with the support of Italy. Italy mean Piedmont-Sardinia at that time. Yeroo dura dubbanni kana waan ta'eef isa kan arganne. This allowed him to exclude Austria when forming the North German Confederation with the states that had supported Prussia in the war. Kanaaf Austria was defeated. This is the second war. The third war and the last one, Franco-Prussian War of 1870 up to 1871. Now France was defeated. Prussia defeated France. Then the German Confederation was transformed into an empire with the proclamation of Prussian King William I as German Emperor as the Palace of Versailles of France. Keessaayyuu amilee barra Faransaa kan ittiin tuqanii iddoo kanatti waan ta'eef walumaa galatti a person called Bismarck fought 3 important wars to unite Germany, to complete unification of Germany. The first war, Danish War of 1864. The second war, the war between Prussia and France, Franco-Prussian, Austro-Prussian War. The last one, Franco-Prussian War, the war which fought between France and Prussia. This unification of Germany was completed in 1871. In this case, German Confederation was transformed into an empire with the proclamation of Prussian King William I as German Emperor. Mootichi maal ta'e Emperor of waan ta'e. Kanaaf empire hundeeffamte waan ta'eef as the Palace of Versailles kakuu galee Faransaay keessatti keessaayyuu amilee kana warra Faransaay tuquudhaaf beeta mangistii isaanii keessatti kan dhaqee waadaa gale waan ta'eef unification of Germany was completed in 1871. Walumaa galatti barumsa irraa isin qabaadha. Kana fakkaata yeroo ta'an immoo next topic history grade 12 unit 1 development of capitalism and nationalism from 1850 to 1940 kan jedhutti part 5 the American Civil War isiniif qabadhee dhiyaadha. Kanaaf warri maatii hambaatuu hin taane viidiyoo kana subscribe gochuudhaan maatii ta'aa. warri immoo maatii taatan viidiyoo kana osoo tolee sheer koomentii laayik gochuudhaan yeroo keessan bira akka gurguree keessan taphattaa. Kanaaf yeroo barnootaa gaarii nagaan turaa.